And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. You know what? It's been a fantastic week so far. I mean, what else could be happening? There's a lot of stuff going on the news, a lot of stuff going on in the world. And in addition to that, you got this magnificent show that we're putting on for you. We do it every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And on today's show, we're going to talk about what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and we're going to do our news segment that it's actually not new anymore. We've been doing quite a while. Our segment that tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Today's story is going to be practice run. Now, you're not going to want to miss it. You know, I say that every day, but you're not. It's just a great story. And then a little bit later on, we'll be talking to our own Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless, and he'll be talking about wireless technology news. And then, of course, today I'm going to talk to you about money secrets of multimillionaire investors, things that you're going to want to hear about. But right now, I want to tell you that at 3:02 p.m. Pacific time, it is currently 68 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 71 degrees on its way to 47 degrees. But you know what? The sun is out. The sky is blue. It's just absolutely drop dead gorgeous outside. If you look up at the mountains behind the studio here, they're snow covered. It's just beautiful, but we don't have that horrible weather that is going on the East Coast. Well, right now, let's talk about the news. You know, Trump's immigration mixed message draws skepticism. President Donald Trump surprised congressional leaders when he suddenly suggested that he was open to broad immigration reform. But while there is appetite on Capitol Hill for legislation, there's also skepticism, and the president's hardline rhetoric over the past 2 years could make a compromise bill much, much harder. Trump signaled a potential shift yesterday, in a private meeting with news anchors. He told them that he was open to legislation that would give legal status to some people living in the United States illegally and provide a pathway to citizenship to those brought to the United States illegally as children. Those private comments raised expectations that he might make a similar call in his primetime address. Instead, Trump pledged to vigorously target people living in the United States illegally who threaten our communities and prey on innocent citizens, words similar to his campaign speeches. The mixed messaging underscored the uncertainty about the president's intentions and drew a mixed reaction on Capitol Hill. While some of his party could welcome a new push for comprehensive immigration reform, it's far from clear exactly what that might entail. Trump spent his campaign whipping his supporters into a frenzy on the issue, painting a picture of a nation overrun by violent people living here illegally, committing crimes and stealing American jobs. That's left many Democrats skeptical and Republicans on both sides of the issue appearing to hear what they want. Well, I hope that this opens up the door for comprehensive immigration reform, which we obviously feel is vital, said Republican Senator John McCain of Arizona, who was a member of the so-called Gang of Eight that spearheaded a 2013 immigration bill that ultimately failed passing the Senate. Well, that's that for that, right? How about this? Let's talk about being a fast learner. Can you imagine? Now, Trump gains skill in using his trappings of office. Most mornings, President Donald Trump gathers business leaders, union executives, or others at the White House for made-for-television meetings meant to project the image of a can-do chief executive. Trump sits at the center of one of the White House's ornate meeting rooms, offers brief remarks, and invites assembled journalists to stick around to hear his guests praise his plans. Few tangible policy decisions emerge from the listening sessions, but the public parts of the meeting are carried in full on cable television, underscoring the ways in which an unconventional new president is using the traditional trappings of the office to his advantage. You know, playing the role of president is a crucial skill that doesn't always come easily to Oval Office occupants. The theater of the presidency can't fully mask policy fumbles or awkward disputes, but it can shape the way in which a commander-in-chief is perceived by the public and can help keep anxious political allies in line. That was particularly evident last night when Trump delivered his first address to the joint session of Congress. Well, we'll see what happens from here on. It could be that pivotal moment that everybody's talking about that happens, but who knows? There's no real telling what's going on. Let's talk a little bit about gene therapy. It lets a French teen dodge sickle cell disease. A French teen who was given gene therapy for sickle cell disease more than 2 years ago now has enough properly working red blood cells to dodge the effects of the disorder, researchers report. The first in the world case is detailed in tomorrow's New England Journal of Medicine. About 90,000 people in the United States, mostly blacks, have sickle cell, the first disease for which a molecular cause was found. Worldwide, about 275,000 babies are born with it each year. Vexing questions of race and stigma have shadowed the history of its medical treatment, including a time when blacks who carry the bad gene were urged not to have children, spurring accusations of genocide. Keith Wailu of Princeton University wrote that in a separate article in the New England Journal. The disease is caused by a single typo in the DNA alphabet of the gene for hemoglobin, the stuff in red blood cells that carries oxygen. When it's defective, the cells sickle into a crescent shape, clogging tiny blood vessels and causing bouts of extreme pain and sometimes more serious problems such as strokes and organ damage. It keeps many people from playing sports and enjoying their activities of a normal life. You know what? A stem cell transplant from a blood-matched sibling is a potential cure, but in the United States, fewer than 1 in 5 people have a donor like that. Pain crises are treated with blood transfusions and drugs, but they're a temporary fix. Gene therapy offers hope of a lasting one. You know what? The boy, now 15, was treated at Nectar Children's Hospital in Paris in October of 2014. Researchers gave him a gene taken up by his blood stem cells to help prevent the sickling. Now about half of his red blood cells have normal hemoglobin. He has not needed a transfusion since 3 months after his treatment and is off of all medications. That, my friends, is just tantamount to a miracle. It's not a cure, but it doesn't matter because the disease is effectively dodged, said Philippe Levouche, who helped invent the therapy and helped found Bluebird Bio in Cambridge. Man, you know what? That just sends chills up and down your spine. That's the kind of news a person wants to hear about. Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about why deporting undocumented immigrants could slow the U.S. economy. Think about it. That's a serious thing. I'll tell you all about it as soon as we return from these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. But first, I want you to know that at 3:12 p.m. Pacific time, it's still 68 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It started off at 71 degrees, and it's on its way down to 47 degrees. A little bit later on, I'll give you the forecast for our globally syndicated network in a lot of those cities. But right now, let's talk about why deporting undocumented immigrants could slow the U.S. economy. If President Donald Trump's hardline stance on illegal immigration leads to large-scale deportations, among those hurt could be the U.S. economy. That's the view of many economists who say the United States can't afford to suddenly lose vast numbers of the immigrants who work illegally, picking fruit and vegetables, building houses, bussing tables, staffing meat packing plants, and cleaning hotel rooms. Immigrants living illegally in the United States account for roughly 18% of the employment in agriculture, 13% in construction, and 10% in restaurants, hotels, casinos, according to a study done last year by the National Bureau of Economic Research. The economic shock could cause widespread ramifications, says Ben Giddis, director of labor market policy at the American Action Forum and conservative think tank. Addressing Congress on Tuesday night, Trump vowed to build a great wall to bar Mexicans from entering the United States illegally. Even as he spoke, the president said U.S. authorities were deporting the bad ones. The president's tough talk followed remarks that he had made to CBS's 60 Minutes after his November election. He warned that his administration might deport 2 million to 3 million of those living in the country illegally. Yet, what exactly Trump wants to do about illegal immigration remains hazy because he said different things at different times. On Tuesday, before his speech, for example, the president had signaled a potential shift in the private meeting with news anchors. He told them that he was open to legislation that would give legal status to some people living illegally in the United States and provide a pathway to citizenship to people who were brought to the U.S. illegally as children. But in his speech Tuesday night, the president omitted any such suggestion. He instead promised to target people living in the United States illegally who threaten our communities and prey on innocent citizens. Well, that's just the way that's going to go. But, economists note that immigrants, including those working in the country without permission, play a vital role in the U.S. economy. And not only because they fill many low-paying jobs that Americans won't or can't do, the United States, like Japan and Western Europe, is being hobbled economically by aging and slower-growing workforce. Economic growth depends on a steadily growing supply of workers, but aging baby boomers are retiring, and an unusually large proportion of prime age men have stopped looking for work. Nearly 8 years after the end of the Great Recession, the unemployment rate has fallen to 4.8%, near what economists consider full employment. As older Americans retire, younger ones are increasingly choosing to enroll in college rather than start work right out of high school. One result is that it's become harder for employers to fill the entry-level jobs that are often taken by immigrants living in the United States illegally. Well, Gittes reviewed the numbers and said that he reached a striking conclusion. Suppose, he says, the United States were to deport or otherwise lose all of the estimated 6.8 million immigrants working in the country illegally. At full employment, there wouldn't be enough legal workers to fill all those jobs. At least 4 million jobs would go unfilled. Still, critics have often argued that low-wage immigrants in the United States end up depressing pay for everyone else, and economists have long weighed over that possibility. A paper issued last month by the National Bureau of Economic Research studied that what actually happened in 1964 when the government cut the supply of seasonal Mexican farm workers entering the United States. By excluding the Mexicans, the move was supposed to create jobs for American farm workers and raise their wages. But researchers Ethan Lewis of Dartmouth College and Michael Clemens and Hannah Postel of the Center for Global Development found that barring Mexican farm workers failed to raise wages or substantially raise employment for domestic workers. Instead of hiring Americans, farms turned to machines to pick cotton and tomatoes and to tend to sugar beets. Economist Ryan Edwards of the Mills College says U.S. employers would likely shrink their businesses rather than search in vain for illegal workers if they lost workers to mass deportations. The cutbacks could take a heavy economic toll. Edwards of and Fransk Ortega of the City University of New York estimates that immigrant workers living in the country illegally account for 3% of private gross domestic product, the broadest measure of economic output, or nearly $5 trillion over the next 10 years. So keep that in mind. Mass deportations could impose other costs as well. Gittes estimates that the government would have to spend, get this, $400 billion to $600 billion to deport all of those living in the United States without permission and to prevent future illegal immigration. In a 2013 study, the Social Security Administration found that immigrants living in the country without permission had paid $13 billion into Social Security in 2010 and received only $1 billion in benefits. Now, the administration concluded that their contributions had had a net positive effect on Social Security finances. So, mass deportations mean we do not only lose the workers, Gittes says, we lose consumers and we lose taxpayers. So give that some thought the next time you're saying let's deport all of these people. Not really a great idea. Now we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to brighten things up a little bit. We're going to talk about the IRS loses, and the first case that we're going to talk about is that they can't reject papers as being late when they were actually sitting on the agent's desk all that time. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages, so don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, General Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:23 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 72 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, on its way down to 49 degrees. You know what? I don't understand how this weather keeps changing from one minute to the next, but it seems to be going that way. Well, if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you happen to be in New York City, well, it's 66 degrees and it's partly cloudy. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, it's 34 degrees. Yep. And it's overcast. But right now, I'll tell you what, I think I will just put a smile on your face. We're going to talk about the IRS Loses. And our first case here is that the IRS can't reject papers as being late when they were sitting on the agent's desk all this time. Yeah, give that some thought, for Pete's sake. You know what? During an IRS appeals hearing, an IRS agent asked the taxpayer to submit a package of papers by July the 31st of 2002. This is an older case. Now, he didn't receive them by that date, but they were delivered on August the 8th. Now, on August the 12th, he sent out a notice rejecting the appeal because the package had been late. Now, this is what the guy went to court. This is what the judge said. The package had been delayed due to post 9/11 postal security procedures, and included a note from the Postal Service saying that just exactly that. The postmark on it needed to prove the timely mailing was illegible. Now, in light of that, and the fact that it was on the agent's desk when he rejected the appeal, well, it was an abuse of discretion for him to do that. And so the appeal actually goes through. How about this? The IRS loses. The tax court absolutely can hear new evidence about an innocent spouse claim. Here's the deal. A woman sought relief from liability for a tax bill that her husband had incurred on his business income. Now, the IRS denied it, saying that she had known the tax was owed and that she was still married to her husband when she went to tax court. The IRS claimed the court could not consider any new evidence that the IRS hadn't already considered. Well, this is what the judge said. First of all, the IRS shouldn't be telling the judge anything, right? Anyway, get this. The judge says that the tax court can always consider new evidence when determining the amount of a deficiency, as it does in innocent spouse cases. Now, to reach a judgment on the full merits rather than just the IRS record, and here on the full merits, the wife had an especially strong case for relief. And so, yeah, you got it. She gets the relief, and she should. Absolutely. Well, you know what? Let me give you one more case. And that is the IRS Loses, reporting too much income. Yeah, that's not tax fraud. Here's the deal. A woman filed late tax returns for several years in preparation for a bankruptcy filing. Now, she mistakenly included her unmarried live-in companion's income on those tax returns. The IRS then objected that she had filed false returns, so her taxes were not dischargeable. Well, this is what the bankruptcy court said. The IRS proposition that including an income on the tax return by a taxpayer, which is not the taxpayer's income, but someone else's, is tantamount to to filing a false return. It just defies credulity. Clearly, to do so is asinine and stupid, but that is not a hallmark of any taint of fraud, since the person who is harmed by this action is not the government, but the taxpayer. So the IRS's objection? Yeah, you got it. It's dismissed, as it should be, right? Absolutely. Now, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things, sometimes stupid, sometimes smart. But the idea is that takes us to our next segment, and that is inside the IRS. You know what? It's a little bit like being in the Twilight Zone. Well, you know what? These are not tax court cases, but I tell you every day, information is the most important and valuable commodity that you can get, and this is no different than that. So that's what we're talking about in these particular informational sessions that we give you inside the IRS. First of all, let's talk about using an offshore bank. Individuals who want to maintain offshore bank accounts, the existence of which, by the way, must generally be disclosed to the IRS on an annual basis, they should keep in mind that the IRS can summons the bank to obtain copies of an account holder's statements reflecting deposits and withdrawals. Now, there's an exception to this. If the offshore bank does not maintain an office in the United States, a motion to quash the summons should be successful. Now, the IRS can enforce a summons in the United States District Court only if it can show that the summons person or entity resides and is found in the court's geographical jurisdiction. So your best bet? Select an offshore bank with no branch office or business connection, such as an investment banking operation that is inside the United States. Just be careful. How about this? You ever think about it? When you try to tell the IRS, heads I win, tails you lose? Well, you know where this is going, right? The courts have held that taxpayers must be guided by a duty of consistency when it comes to taking tax positions concerning the same economic matter at different times. Now, here's an example. The court determined in Conrad Janus that an estate could not take one position with respect to the value of its assets when it suited the estate's tax purposes, in this case, using a lower discounted value for a gallery of work, and then take a contrary position when that suited the estate's purposes also, in this case, using a higher fair market value when the artwork was later sold by the beneficiary. The bottom line? You cannot unfairly beat the IRS with its own rules and regulations. You know what? It's not apples and oranges. It's apples and apples. Let me give you one last one. The IRS absolutely wants to make sure that you're using the correct website for them. The Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, TIGTA, has the authority to maintain the integrity of tax administration. Now, in that capacity, TIGTA is working to free the internet of sites that may sound like that of the IRS, but really aren't. The correct web address for the IRS is www.irs.gov. Now, however, taxpayers who use www.irs.com or www.irs.net and a host of other private commercial sites may wind up paying for services or products that they can get for free on the real site at www.irs.gov. Now, check resources on the official IRS site before paying for tax-related information. You absolutely want to make sure that you're doing that. Now, we're going to take a short little break, and then when we come back, what I want to talk to you about are the secrets, about money secrets of millionaire investors. You know, you're going to find this really tantalizing, I think. The first secret we're going to talk about is the Automatic Millionaire's very simple get-rich secret. So if you want to hear it, don't go away. I'll tell you all about it as soon as we come back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:24 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 72 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's going down. It's on its way down to 47 degrees here today. And you know what? If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Paris, France, well, it's 48 degrees and it's partly cloudy. And if you're in Rome, Italy, hey, it's 45 degrees and it is absolutely clear. And if you're in either place, you are really lucky. Great places to be. But right now, I want to talk to you about something that ought to be nearer and dear and close to your heart. And that is money secrets of multimillionaire investors. And right at the top, the automatic millionaire's very simple get rich secret. You know, sticking to a budget means depriving yourself today for the sake of your future well-being. Now, few of us have the discipline that this requires. We dine at expensive restaurants, we buy new cars every few years anyway, and spend about $3.50 or more for a cup of coffee. The result? Even people with decent incomes live from paycheck to paycheck. To save steadily, most people need to put savings on autopilot. Arrange for a certain percentage of each paycheck to be tucked away. This takes little discipline or effort. You can arrange for your bank or mutual fund firm to automatically take money out of your bank account every month. So, how much should you set aside? Start out small. Save 1% of your salary. Soon, you can bump that up to 3%. Your goal should be saved at about 10%. Now, those with grander objectives should save 15 to 20%. You will be amazed at how little sacrifice is actually involved when you do this. Say you now buy lunch at the office every day. By brown bagging it at a cost of about $1 per day instead of $8 a day, you could save $35 a week or about $150 a month. If you earn a 7% annual return, that savings could grow to about $73,791 in 20 years. Now, you're saying, where am I going to get a 7% annual return? Well, you're not going to get it at the bank. That's for doggone sure. You know, the best way to save is with a 401k or other tax advantage plan. If you save after-tax dollars, the federal government alone takes about $3 out of every $10 that you earn. Now, when you put $10 into a retirement plan, the entire sum goes to work and won't be taxed until withdrawal when you're probably at a lower tax rate. Well, how about this? Pay down your mortgage. Making regular mortgage payments is a form of forced savings. To accelerate the process, see if your bank will allow you to pay off your mortgage early. Yeah, you know what? Not as difficult as you may think. Perhaps by making one payment every 2 weeks instead of one a month. By following this system, you'll make 26 half payments, or the equivalent of 13 monthly payments every year. That's an extra payment a year. You could pay off a 30-year mortgage in about 23 years by doing that. Saving 7 years. Consider that. Consider that a $250,000 30-year mortgage with an interest rate of 6% will cost you about $289,595 in interest. By paying weekly, you'll pay only $60,972 less. Can you imagine putting that extra money in your retirement? Well, are you a savvy consumer? Think about it. You know, as a TV investigative reporter, sometimes I'd see even smart people getting ripped off for thousands of dollars every day. To avoid being a target, be the hunter, not the hunted. Ignore any company that pursues you too aggressively. The contractor who knocks on your door claiming to be working on other houses in the neighborhood. The broker who cold calls you with must-own stocks. The carpet cleaner who sends you a coupon offering steep discounts. Always conduct your own research first, then hire someone that you have sought out. To test just how knowledgeable you are as a consumer, take my quiz. Just answer true or false. When you buy a new car, federal law allows you 3 ways to change your mind and return it. Well, that's false. All car sales are final. Consumers frequently make this mistake because they believe automobiles fall under the Fair Trade Commission's cooling off rule. Now, this regulation allows you 72 hours to cancel the purchase of a product, but only if it is sold to you at your home or away from the seller's normal place of business, such as at a hotel or convention center. The only way that you can return a new car is if it qualifies as a lemon under the state law. Now, lemon laws apply only to new cars and vary by state. Typically, you have to prove that the car has had the same problem repeatedly and can't be fixed, or that it has been in the repair shop for a total of more than 30 days within the first 12 months or 12,000 miles. For help in getting the manufacturers to comply with lemon laws, contact your state consumer protection office or use the Better Business Bureau's Auto Line, a free program that helps car owners resolve disputes about defects. Well, you can call them at 800-955-5100. That's 800-955-5100. Or go to your website at www.drbb.org/autoline/index.asp. You know what? Just make the phone call. 800-955-5100. Well, if your home improvement contractor rips you off or does shoddy work, some states will pay you back. You think so? Yeah, well, they will. It's true. Many states have construction recovery or contractors guarantee funds that reimburse consumers for as much as $50,000 or more. The fund covers general contractors, plumbers, electricians, all that kind of stuff. Check with the state board of contractors or Department of Licensing to see if such a fund is actually available. Now, this is really important. To be eligible for reimbursement, you must have hired a contractor who is licensed in your state. 36 states require contractors to be licensed, and nearly all state licensed plumbers and electricians. You can present your case yourself at a formal hearing and be reimbursed by the state in as little as 60 days. Some helpful evidence: photos of shoddy work and of inspector's report. To avoid unlicensed contractors, know the warning signs. An unmarked vehicle. Most states require license numbers to appear on vehicles, estimates, and advertising. The only contact information for him or her is through a post office box, a pager, or an answering service instead of a permanent street address. He has a business or occupancy license, not a contractor's license. A business license is not proof of competency and requires no testing or apprenticeships. An occupancy license is for zoning. It simply grants permission to conduct a certain type of business at a certain address. Keep that in mind. How about this? If you receive unsolicited merchandise in the mail, you are legally obligated to send back the product or pay for it. No, that's not true. It's false. Federal law makes it illegal for companies to send you something that you didn't order and then bill you for it. You're allowed to keep the item as a gift, give it away, or throw it out. Other steps you can take: send a certified letter to the company notifying it that you have received unwanted merchandise and will not be burdened with the time and expense of returning it. You are not required by law to send such a letter, but you will establish a paper trail in case the company ever tries to come after you with collection notices. Now, if it appears that you received an item through an honest error, such as a customer mix-up at a legitimate merchant, you can write or email the seller saying that you're giving it a reasonable amount of time, let's say 10 to 30 days, to send a courier to pick up the product, or else you will reserve the right to keep the item. If you receive a bill, contact the local U.S. Postal Inspector's office to report the company. How about this? A coupon to clean 4 rooms of carpeting for $29.95 is a good deal. Think so? No, it's not. That's a false claim. Based on my investigations of carpet cleaners, initial low prices with these companies or come-ons always are followed by hefty upcharges. Typically, you'll be charged extra for pre-treatment solutions, deodorizers, and protective spray, moving furniture and cleaning carpeting and closets. To avoid rip-offs, use a reputable carpet cleaner. These companies tend to charge by the square foot, not the room. You also want to hire a cleaning contractor that uses truck-mounted equipment, which is more often powerful, or a lot more powerful than the self-contained equipment used by cut-rate carpet cleaners. Now, to find a reputable cleaner in your area, contact the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification at 800-835-4624. That's 800-835-4624. Or www.iicrc.org. Well, I'm going to take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to continue these lessons. And the next one is, what do you think your chances of winning a publisher's sweepstakes increase if you buy the magazine? You think you will? I'll tell you about it right after these brief messages. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:49 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 68 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And that's down from 72 degrees on its way to 47 degrees. If you're one of our globally syndicated networks and you're living in London, England, well, it's 43 degrees and it's partly cloudy. And if you happen to be in Vienna, Austria, listening to our show, thank you very much. It's 32 degrees and it's partly cloudy. That means, hey, it's cold out there, folks. Absolutely. Well, you know what? Have you been able to answer my questions? Are you really a savvy consumer? Yeah, probably not. You know, here's the deal. Just answer some of these questions I've got for you. What do you think your chances of winning a publisher sweepstake? Do you think that it increases if you buy a magazine? Nah, that's a false claim. You know what? More than half of American adults entered a sweepstakes in the past year. What many don't realize is that by law, sweepstakes mail offers must give you an equal chance of winning, even if you buy nothing. You need to know these rules. You know, when representatives for legitimate sweepstakes promotions call, they cannot describe the prize before making their sales pitch. After the sales pitch, they must reveal the retail value of all prizes and disclose your odds of winning, when the prizes will be awarded, and how to get a list of those winners. They cannot claim that you have won a prize unless you really have. Now, winning a free vacation offer is not the same thing. Now, this is important. Don't make upfront payments. Promoters of legitimate sweepstakes never ask for money to cover taxes and processing, judging, or even entry fees. If you suspect fraud, contact your state's Attorney General or Secretary of State. How about this? When you get an unwanted telemarketing pitch, you should say, "Take me off your list." No, that's false. Don't do that. That request has no legal teeth at all. Better yet, ask the telemarketer to put you on the company's do not call list. Laws require telemarketers to maintain and honor those kinds of lists. Put it on their do not call list. Yes. You know what? Have your home phone number put on 3 do not call lists. The Direct Marketing Association list, that's at 212-768-7277, or the website at www.the-dma.org. Or your state's do not call registry. Call your state Consumer Protection Agency office to find out if your state has one, and the Federal Trade Commission's national registry at 888-382-1222. That's 888-382-1222, or at www.donotcall.gov. It is not necessary to include your cell phone numbers. Telemarketing to them has always been illegal, but they can be registered if you wish to do that. How about this? Parking garage time clocks are accurate, right? No way. You don't really believe that, do you? That's false. When I investigated parking garages around Washington, D.C. one time, I discovered that 75% of them skewed their clocks in their favor by at least 6 minutes. Yeah. That makes it always a typical problem. Here's a typical result of that. A customer checks in, returning just before an hour has elapsed, only to be charged for some or all of the second hour. Now, to avoid ripoffs, make a note of the time on your watch as you enter and exit, and show the attendant. What matters is the time that has elapsed. If there is a discrepancy, complain and threaten to contact the Department of Consumer Affairs in your city or town. Most garages are going to back down rather than risk having an official complaint lodged against them. Well, you know, you can improve your or even repair your credit score within 24 to 72 hours. That doesn't sound like long, does it? Well, it's true. While the credit report industry is riddled with scams, rapid rescoring is a legitimate service offered by local credit bureaus when you apply for a home loan. This is how it works. Rescorers work directly with the three major credit bureaus. Not only do they correct errors on your credit report, they restructure your debt in ways that boost your credit score. The cost? Well, it's about $200. This might seem high, but by raising your credit score, you can often qualify for lower mortgage rates and save thousands of dollars. Now, how it might work? Well, a resourcer notices that you have 3 credit cards. One is near the limit, while you hardly use the other 2 at all. By transferring some of the debt to the unused cards, you improve your score by 5%. Why would this be? Well, scoring models are based against consumers who are near any of their credit limits. If you want assistance from a rapid rescorer, ask your mortgage broker or lender to refer you to one. Rapid rescoring firms don't work directly with consumers. If you get an unsolicited offer for overnight credit repair, you can bet it's a scam. Absolutely, absolutely a scam. There's no question about that at all. Now, let's see here. I've got, let me give you what to do with your reward points. You know what? Pay your American Express bill with reward points. American Express will accept its own membership reward points for bill payment at the rate of about 20,000 points for each $100 in credit. Now, consider the Amex offer if you have more reward points than you can actually use, can't get a free ticket to a preferred destination, or don't plan to travel by plane. A total of 20,000 to 25,000 points earns an airline ticket worth much more than $100. That's for sure. Now, the next time we do this, I'm going to talk to you about painless ways to save. You're not going to want to miss that. It's a way for me to help you think about your financial health, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So don't go away. We're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. So we're going to take our break and be back with Joel right after these brief messages. So don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:59 p.m. Pacific time. It's 4 p.m. Just clicked over. It's 72 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 48 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network in Flagstaff, Arizona, it's 36 degrees and it's clear. And if you're in Torrance, California, making all that noise that's going out on the air, it's 68 degrees and it's clear. You know what? You've been wondering about cybersecurity or unlimited deals that are out there for carriers, or how to beat the carriers at their own game? I got just the guy for you, our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Hey, Joel, you're on the air.
Hey, Robert, sorry about all the noise. I'll tell you what that's all about. I just got one of my clients is a streaming videographer, and he just offered to shoot a video business card for me.
Well, that's a good deal.
And he shot it, and I figured I would play around, so I embedded it on my website on the front page about 10 minutes ago. So I was just opening up my webpage, for research information for the show, and as soon as I opened it up, that thing just launched itself. I didn't realize it was on auto play.
Oh, that sounds great.
Well, it wasn't quite expected, so I apologize for that.
Oh, no apology necessary, Joel, at all. Hey, before we get started, I wanted to ask you a question. I'm having do you have Amazon on your smart TV?
I do.
I do too, but man, I'm getting it's doing this saying that the broadband is weak or something like that, and it keeps recycling itself all of a sudden. It wasn't having that problem. I don't have that problem with YouTube, and I don't have the problem with any of the other stuff that's on there. And I'm wondering, the speed, I guess, has nothing to do with broadband. I've got 100 megabytes per second up and down. What could be causing that?
That's what I was going to ask you. Have you run a speed test recently?
No, I haven't run one recently, but I'm supposed to have 100 megabytes per second up and down. Is that something I should be recycling on a regular basis?
Absolutely. Just because they tell you have something makes no difference. Doesn't mean that's what you have. And what happens is, especially with coax, even with fiber optic, during peak times, people are on the internet and your speeds are going to slow down. It's a community pipe that you're on. So what I would suggest you do is Ookla, Ookla, does really good speed tests. They do mobile ones and regular ones. Do a few speed tests. The other thing is periodically unplug your modem, unplug your router, reboot your computer. A lot of times that can help.
Okay, you know what? And I'll do that as soon as we're off. The same system that I use for to broadcast with is the one that goes into my smart TV, and it's wired with it's fiber optic that comes into here, and then it's coax that connects it from my wall to the TV.
Also could be bad cabling, but like you said, if you're not having a problem with your other content providers and just with one provider, unless they have a higher standard for speeds, it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, and I don't think it's a connectivity issue.
Okay. Anyway, I just thought I'd ask the guy that knows.
Not a problem.
Hey, so listen.
Anyhow,
cybersecurity.
Okay, we'll talk about that. But before we get to that, the unlimited plan saga just never ends. Just when you think you've seen everything. An interesting thing happened to me last Friday. One of my longtime clients, and very, very tech-savvy person. In fact, this person sent the first message on the ARPANET, which was the predecessor for the Internet, like in 1969. He's considered one of the fathers of the Internet. He's a scientist, computer scientist at UCLA. Longtime client. I have him on a corporate account with his department at UCLA. And up until recently, corporate accounts, especially enterprise accounts, 100 plus line minimum, usually got a better deal than retail. But as you've seen what's going on here, all the competition is in retail plans. Verizon, for the first time in 6 years, brought out an unlimited plan. Sprint reduced theirs. T-Mobile reduced theirs. T-Mobile upped it from standard def to high def. They added 10 gig of hotspot per line. They dumped the fees. They did all this great stuff. So I'm telling him this and suggesting that we move him from Sprint to T-Mobile and take advantage of this. So I take the order, submit it. My channel manager says, Joel, bad news. The business channel cannot eat the fees or waive the taxes. And I said, well, under the circumstances, that doesn't surprise me. I can live with that. Put the order through. Well, Joel, that's only a consumer plan. Well, what do you mean that's a consumer plan? Well, we do have a new corporate version of that plan. Do you want it? I said, is it the same? She said, well, it's a little different. I said, well, how's it different? She said, well, it's not $100 a month for 2 lines, and it doesn't include the tax. It's $130 a month for the 2 lines. You have to pay the tax and fees. So I said, oh, you're telling me it's $30 more. So basically it's $360 a year more. So I have to tell my client he's going to spend an extra $720 because he's an enterprise client. I said, you have any other good news for me? She goes, well, the consumer plans include 10 gig of hotspot. This plan only includes 1. So I said, let me review here, Michelle.
You have got to be
want
kidding.
me to tell my client that they're going to pay $720 more over 2 years, plus taxes and fees. So let's say they're going to pay over $1,000 more because they're an enterprise account. They're not a retail account. And they're only going to get 1 gig versus 10 gigs of hotspot. And I said, you actually want me to present this to my client? So it puts me in a hotspot. Wouldn't you imagine?
Yeah, it does.
And here's why, Robert.
I wouldn't want to be you when I tell my client that.
Well, exactly, because I don't do retail. It's bad enough that they offer this plan, but I can't offer it because it's not available to my business channel. So I contact my client and I explain to him. I said, look, we got several options here. I said, option number 1 is you go on my business plan version of this. I said, I can't, in good conscience, recommend that. And here's why. And I explained it to him. I said, option 2 is you contact T-Mobile directly. I'll tell you what to say, and you move over from an enterprise plan, retail plan, and ask for all this stuff, and they'll do it. I said, option 3 is I move you to Verizon, and the heck with all this. And he said, well, Joel, I really like that T-Mobile plan, but you mentioned that, you can't do that, which I realize means I don't get your support if I do it directly through T-Mobile. He goes, can't you give me a best of both worlds situation? He goes, how about if I pay you $200 and have you orchestrate all this? You call them on my behalf. You're me. You tell them what you want, and you work them over for the best deal you can, and you give me support for the next 24 months so I don't have to rely on them. He said, is that worth $200 for you? And I said, well, I charge, $100, $150 an hour for labor normally, but for maintenance support, I have no problem. I would do that for you all day long. So I did it. So bottom line is, Dr. Wireless has a new program. It's called the Doctor's Best of Both Worlds Support Program. And here's how it works. As you can see, in some scenarios, there's retail deals that blow the doors off corporate and enterprise deals. I normally would not get paid to offer. I can do it. I can call on, as Robert Cardoza and say, hey, listen, this is what I want. I don't, divulge I'm an agent.
Right.
So I can get people these plans. The other thing is I know about discretionary credits that are available from the retention department. I know about off-sheet rate plans. I know what each carrier will do and won't do. So it's very easy for me to work these carriers against each other. And I traditionally do that on my business channel when I call in as an agent. Hey, look, Verizon is offering Mr. Cardoza this, what can we do? But I'm finding in this case, I call in as the consumer, I work them over, move this stuff over, get all this stuff. Not only did I save him $1,000 over the typical 2-year period by doing this for him, I played hardball and got an additional $150 discretionary poured-in credit for each line. So I got him $300 extra. So I got him $1,300. He paid me $200 off the top. He's $1,100 up front right now. And I negotiated everything for him.
That's a no-brainer, buddy.
Isn't that amazing?
That's phenomenal. I'll bet you wish you were doing this a year ago.
Well, I had thought of this previously, and I had tried to, I thought about introducing it. I just didn't know if it would go over. But what's made this a win-win now is the fact that there's no competition in the corporate plans, so they're not changing, whereas the retail plans, they're going crazy. That's where the competition is.
Right.
And there's no reason that anybody should pay more because they're a business account when they can easily put this under their SOC. And in this case, saving $1,300, that's $650 a year.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
On top of that, you're getting an extra 9 gigs of hotspot each month. So it's just it's a no-brainer. So anyhow, I'm excited about that. The other thing I'm excited about is I think I mentioned to you, I've been running an advertisement on swellmagnet.com, and I'm sponsoring 2 of their cameras. The Manhattan Beach Pier camera and the Redondo Beach Avenues camera. I've got my Ring Central ad on there, and between 2 things, one, between these ads, I've gotten 2 deals from these ads, and between several people I have installed these virtual phone systems for, I'm getting lots of new orders. All of a sudden, I'm busier than I've been, and I don't remember the last time I was this busy.
That's fantastic.
So I'm not 100% sure if it's from the advertisement or if it's from the referrals, but I think when you have a good product, it sells itself, and that's beginning to
Well, you know what? Now, here's where I've got to step in a little bit. It's not just having a good product. People don't buy products or services from companies. They buy it from people. And the truth is this newfound success of yours would go to hell in a handbasket if they weren't dealing with a reputable, qualified individual who gives them the services that they deserve. And that's why you're not only getting these new clients, but you're going to hang on to them. It's got a lot of this has got to do with you and not the products that you're serving.
That's a good point, Robert, because it is my butt on the line when I recommend one of the companies, one of my partners, and that's the reason I backed off Sprint substantially. Is if I can't get the quality of support and know I have a great product behind me, and in the wireless industry, that's especially important. You remember I represented Solvay for a few years. They're a wonderful company. They were around for 2 years, and my only concern with them is I knew they weren't going to be around forever. And when you give your phone number, when you port your phone number into a company, you need to make sure that if they go out of business, it's not going to take an act of God to get your phone number back.
Yeah.
So even though they were a reseller and I knew they weren't going to be around, I made sure that when they went down, that it would not be a big deal to move those numbers to T-Mobile, who was basically providing their service, or move them to another carrier. And that's the same question I got recently. Somebody was asking me about a competitor for Ring Central. They're one of my go-to virtual phone services. Mm-hmm. And this competitor's a little bit cheaper. And I had heard of them, and I asked my expert what he thought. He said, well, Joel, they offer similar services, but their web portal isn't as good, and they haven't been around quite as long. And he said, what I have to consider is when I recommend a client go into a company, is that company going to be in business? And if that company goes out of business, I have to be aware that, they have possession of my client's phone numbers.
Wow.
And how difficult is it going to be to get those phone numbers back if they have financial issues? So these are things I have to consider when I'm recommending, and this is why I do my due diligence and only back companies that are strong. Ring Central has 350,000 enterprise accounts. I mean, that's a lot of business.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Now, you keep a log on which of your clients has which services and what the numbers and things are so that you can steer them through these problems?
I do. Yeah. And so I can notify them. And I have email distribution. So one of the things I do for my clients, aside from providing support, and that's a good question. A lot of people ask me, well, why should I deal with you versus dealing with the carrier directly? Here's a perfect answer for that. If you signed up for a T-Mobile One plan in November when it was offered, or in December when it was offered, or even in early January when it was offered, you have unlimited standard definition data. If you signed up with me today, or you signed up back then with me, I would have notified you of the changes. You think the carrier is going to contact you and say, oh, by the way, Robert, would you like high definition and 10 gig of free hotspot? We're adding that now to our new users. They'll never call you.
No.
These new plans are designed to strip customers from the competition. They're not designed to give current customers that are happy with service and paying their bills a better deal. But on the other hand, if you are a customer of these carriers, if you know there's a better deal, and half the battle is knowing. That's what Dr. Wireless does. We send out news alerts anytime there's a better deal than yours. We tell you when to take advantage. Again, you make the phone call, unless you're paying for my Best of Both Worlds program, then we do everything. Mm-hmm. But we're willing to let our clients know when to pick up the phone. So here's what I'm getting at. If you signed up a month ago, 2 months ago, you're on the original plan. In the last month, just in the last month, T-Mobile's gone from standard def to high def. They've gone from charging you all those fees and taxes to no fees and taxes. They've gone from no hotspot to 10 gigs a hotspot. And they've also gone from 2 lines for $120 to 2 lines for $100. And anybody who contacts me today, calls me at 310-540-6480, I'll tell them how to get 3 lines unlimited service for totally free if they're currently a T-Mobile customer.
That's worth giving that
if
number.
They're not a T-Mobile customer, $120 for 3 lines, unlimited everything, high speed, everything, the 10 gig hotspot, you name it.
That's worth giving that number. That's worth giving that number out again, because you know what? Some people didn't have a chance to get a pencil in their hand.
That number is 310-540-6480. If you're a T-Mobile One user right now, I'll get you 3 lines for $100. If you're not a T-Mobile user, I can get you those same 3 lines, $120. High def, 10 gigs each line, unlimited everything. Doesn't get any better than that.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And that's why they deal with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Hey, Joel, give us a little bit of teaser. We got to take a break, but we've got about 40 seconds before we got to do it.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about the iPhone 8 and what Apple may be doing that's totally unthinkable. We've got a few other interesting things we're going to talk about a new T-Mobile fee that they quietly snuck in. Everything we're talking about today can be found on on www.drwireless.com and on our Facebook page, Facebook.com/DR Wireless. Back to you, Bob.
And we'll be right back with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, with more wireless technology information right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:22 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 72 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 48 degrees. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Madrid, Spain, it's 46 degrees and it's clear. And if you're in Tokyo, Japan, listening to us, it's 41 degrees and it's overcast. And one of the things I forgot to do at the top of our last block was to ask Dr. Wireless if he hung 10 today.
I did not. Funny you should ask that, Robert, because I intended to, and what happened is this morning. I had Wednesday. I have my network meeting at 7 a.m. So I went to that. Traditionally, I'm in the water at 7, but on Wednesday I got the network meeting till 8:30. This month I'm the moderator of the group, so I had to stay till the end. And by the time I left, it was about 9, and I headed towards the beach, but I got stuck a little bit. A mile from my house. I had 4 helicopters above me, and I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. So I turned on the radio, and there's nothing better than watching these chases on TV. Not so much when you're in the car. So I get on Valley Drive because PCH is starting to get backed up. And I'm heading down Valley Drive north, and there's nobody on it. And I turn on 1070, and I hear that this carjacker, bad guy, is heading south on Valley Drive. Coming right towards me.
and you're stopped, right?
No, I'm moving. At this point, I'm moving pretty good because I got off Pacific Coast Highway because I figured the problem was on Pacific Coast Highway, but he got off PCH also and got on Valley. So we were thinking alike, apparently. I got off Valley, got on PCH, and went around the guy, and I heard they gave him like 7 pit maneuvers. I didn't see the actual car, but I saw the police and the helicopters. So by the time I got to the beach, the tide was too high. It wasn't even breaking. All my friends were getting out of the water saying how fun it was and where were you? So then I had to come home, and the chase had moved now to about a half a mile from my home. So I had to take a back door. I had to take Prospect instead of PCH. And I don't know if they're still there, but apparently this guy was holed up.
It just boggles my mind how these people think that they're going to get away with that. They got helicopters above them. They got cops behind them. They got cops in front of them, all sides of them. They've got every pedestrian and every driver on the road listening and looking at them. Where do they think they're going to go?
There's only one way of doing this, Robert, and I've seen so many chases in my life that I put myself in the shoes of the bad guy. And if I was a bad guy or a bank robber, I hate to give anybody any ideas, but you know what I would do? I'd have a change of clothes in my car. I'd have a wig. Yep. And as soon as they started chasing me with those helicopters, I'd head to Delamo Mall or Costa Mesa Mall or any of these malls with these 8-level underground parking. I would jump out of my car, fly into the mall, change my clothes, come out, and call Uber or Lyft and get the heck out of there.
Yeah, and that would be the smart thing to do. But somehow
that's just me. Now, I'm not a bad guy, but the first thing you want to do, you got to know those helicopters are going to follow you until they can't see you.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
it just boggles my mind. I don't see anybody getting away ever.
That doesn't happen very often.
Hey, so listen, let's talk about cyber security before we lose each other here today.
All right. So you're getting a little worried?
Well, but not worried. It's sort of the handwriting on the wall.
No, it really is. It really is. And I did a web page, and what we're going to talk about right now is on drwireless.com/blog. And it's the first entry. It's the latest thing I did. And I talked about a few things that I think are pretty significant. And one of which is, we need to start thinking about doing things differently today than we did 20 years ago or even 10 years ago because of technology. And what I mean by that is, take a GPS device. 10 years ago, nobody even knew what a GPS device was. Now, everybody has them. Some people have standalone GPS devices in their cars. Some people have them in their smartphones. What's going on, Robert, is smart thieves are starting to target events like football games and concerts. And what they figure is, if they break into your car and there's a GPS device, they now have detailed directions to your home. If you're dumb enough to leave a garage door opener in there also, they've got access to your home, because most people leave their door open in the garage. They've got a locked garage, and oftentimes leave the door open, or it's a utility door, doesn't have a very good lock. So it's very easy for these guys to get into your home. And what makes matters worse, if you're going to a USC UCLA football game and you park your car and then, 5 minutes in the first quarter, somebody breaks into your car, you're not going to notice until the end of the game,
it's gonna
3 hours later.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is a big problem because in 3 hours, they can pull a truck up to your house or in your garage for that matter and clean out all your valuables. Yeah. So my solution, number one, never put your exact home address in your GPS. Choose a gas station, a restaurant, any facility near you, because you can easily find your way home when needed by putting in those places. You don't need to put in your exact home address.
Right. Yeah. Put in the gas. You put in the gas station on the corner, and you know how to get home. Or the
7-Eleven, or the donut shop, anywhere but your exact address,
or the police department, or the police station.
There you go. That would be a good one. Now, the other thing is documents and garage door openers. It's not just GPSs. For the longest time, it was always advised that we should put our registration and our insurance in the glove box should we be pulled over. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe that was a good idea years ago. Very bad idea now. And the reason that's a bad idea is, let's say you've got your registration information, insurance information in your glove box, and let's say you got your garage door opener in your car, and you got to fly to Chicago for a week for a business meeting, and you put your car in one of these airport parking lots. Mm-hmm. Well, anything can happen. Anybody breaks into your car, you're not going to notice, obviously, maybe for a week. If they left the garage door opener in there, they've got your address. They know where to go. So, doctor's solution, leave your car insurance and registration in your wallet with your license. If you're going to any kind of sporting event, long-term parking, pull your garage door opener out of the car, or at least out of plain sight, put it in the trunk or hide it.
Yeah.
So,
that's actually good information.
There's a lot of good. Here's another one that's going on. The shopping mall grocery store scam. I don't know if you've heard about this one. Mm-mm. This one, they steal women's purses out of the cart. Mm-hmm. And the thieves know that the normal person would immediately report this. Let me turn that on silent. The thieves know that a normal person's going to report it immediately to the manager, the store. Mm-hmm. So what happens is shortly after the victim reports it and gets home, they get a phone call from what appears to be the store manager explaining that they found the wallet with all the credit cards and the driver's license, but there was no cash. The victim immediately drives back to the store to retrieve it. Upon arrival, she's told that nobody called her, nobody turned in any wallet. They don't know what she's talking about. Meanwhile, the thieves are cleaning out her house. Ooh. Is that amazing?
Yeah.
So, solution, wear your purse at all times. Don't put it in the child's seat of the shopping cart. Yeah. Just bring your wallet and smartphone into the store if need be. Don't leave laptops or MacBooks or anything sitting in your car in plain sight. So, these are just a few things. There's actually, let me give you another one before we run out of time. Here's another thing that's really dumb. A lot of people store in their cell phone, instead of putting, their husband or their wife's phone numbers, they put hubby, mom, dad, wife, sweetheart, honey. Never, ever, ever do that in your phone memory. And the reason is if somebody gets a hold of your phone and steals it, they can do all kinds of stuff. I heard about a sad story from a woman who called her husband to tell him her purse was stolen, and with her cell phone in it. And the husband said he had just received her message earlier asking for their debit card PIN number and sent it to her. Oh. And when they both realized what happened, they went to the bank and their savings were cleaned out. Oh. So you really need to be careful. Don't store, relationships in your phone.
Wow.
So lots of stuff going on. We go on forever. You've heard about the IRS scams. You've reported about those. Listen to this one, Robert. I was with a buddy of mine last week, and he had told me that he'd gotten a phone call from the IRS. So I'm having lunch with him, and all of a sudden he gets a phone call, and he looks at the number, and he puts it on speakerphone. He goes, listen to this. It's a robo-dialer guy saying that he owes money to the IRS and they're going to garnish his wages and possibly take his home, if he doesn't respond, and they give a phone number for him to call. And I explained to him the IRS is never going to call you. They're never going to email you. They're going to contact you 2 years later and tell you got fees and fines, and you're going to get a letter, old school.
Not only absolutely, first of all, they're going to wait the 2 years because they don't want the statute of limitations to run, and they want to get it out far enough to get the interest and penalties on what you owe. The second thing is if you don't respond to the letter, it's not going to take that long before somebody with a badge and a gun knocks on your door, identifies himself as being with the IRS, and you're going to have no question as to it being legitimate.
Exactly. So that's something, and it's unfortunate, but there's so many gullible people out there. There's so much of this going on, it's ridiculous.
You know what, and more, and you know what, the problem, I mean, we all love this new technology and all the things that it does for us and everything going on, but there's a downside to it too, because these crooks, these scam artists, they're always going to find a way to overcome all the safety that you try to put into this new technology and make a payday for themselves.
This is true. Yeah. Anyhow, I heard something that is a little disconcerting, but I certainly do not dispute it. And what I'm going to say is I just read a study, and you may have a hard time believing this, but they rated the iPhone as not being as reliable as Androids.
Oh, you're kidding.
iPhone's high failure rate gives Android the edge on reliability.
Wow.
And basically, they're saying that new data shows that the iPhone's performance issues and high failure rates over the last year make Android more stable. iPhone 6 and iPhone 6S are said to be two of the worst performing Apple handsets ever.
Well, you know what? You and I talked about this when Steve Jobs died. We actually talked about the innovations of iPhone, and the guy who drove it to success was no longer there. This was going to eventually happen, because that visionary would never have allowed iPhone or any product that Apple put out to be anything short of perfection.
I agree. There was two surprising things I read about iPhone. That was one, and I agree with that. I have an iPhone 6 Plus, 6S Plus, and I'm having issues with it. It's nowhere near as good as my 5 was, or my 5S. I'm actually thinking about going back to that SE model, which is a 5S on steroids. I like the feel of that small phone. This thing in my pocket hurts sometimes when I'm wearing tight pants. It's just not as reliable, and I'm not sure I need that huge screen after all.
Wait a minute, Joel. I just can't let that go by. When you're wearing tight pants, it's your phone that hurts?
My jeans. It's what I'm saying is when I sit in my car.
I'm just kidding you.
I know you are. When I sit in a car, this thing digs into my hip because it's so wide, and it never did with the smaller one. Sometimes it falls out of my pocket in between my seats. It just doesn't fit in. It's not pocket friendly.
Well, I figure that I'm getting what they refer to as saggy ass now, because I'm getting more of these butt dialed calls than I ever got before, because I carry my cell phone in my back pocket, and now more often than not, I'm getting Siri saying, "What do you want, Robert? What do you want?"
I get her talking to me all the time when I'm not talking to her. I'm butt dialing people when it's in my front pocket. I got so many weird things happening. Robert, does this ever happen to you? You call somebody on your phone and you're done with the conversation and you want to end the call and you can't find the screen to end the call?
Yeah, I have done that.
I never had that happen to me. And I'll start scrolling looking for the screen, and sometimes I can't find it. Sometimes it's there, but it disappears on me. It's annoying.
Yeah. I've had that happen. And a lot of times it's just sitting a little bitty strip right at the top of the phone, and you're not noticing it, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, my friend.
Now, before we run out of time, one last thing I just wanted to say.
Okay.
And that is the iPhone 8. They are talking about, they went from the 30-pin connector to the Lightning.
Right.
And I heard a vicious rumor that they may be abandoning Lightning and going to the industry standard USB Series C, which everybody else uses.
This sounds a little bit like classic Coke, doesn't it?
Can you imagine Apple abandoning something proprietary to adopt an industry standard?
Wow.
Hope that's true.
Yeah, I hope it's true.
I know we're running out of time.
Well, not only running out of time, we're a minute and a half over. But go ahead, whatever you were going to say.
Joel at drwireless.com. If you have any questions, www.drwireless.com/blog is where much of this content is coming from, and facebook.com/drwireless as well. Have a wonderful weekend, Robert.
Hey, you too, Joel. Stay safe, stay happy, keep the people around you glad that they are, and go surfing, will you?
Getting those toes wet just for you.
Attaboy. You take care. The rest of you folks, stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to be doing the secret daily teaching for your life. We're going to the birthdays, and we're going to do interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:42 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 46 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Sydney, Australia, hey, it's 75 degrees and partly cloudy. It's also tomorrow morning at 11:42. If you're listening to us in Auckland, New Zealand, it's 72 degrees and mostly cloudy. It's also tomorrow, by the way, just in case you were wondering. And it's 1:43 p.m. in Auckland. But right now, what I want to talk to you about the secret daily teaching for your life. It's all about a positive mental attitude. It's you controlling your life. You know what? It's just a fact. It's the truth. It's scientific. You control your own life. You decide if you're happy, sad, rich, or poor, if you're going to be a success or a failure. You decide how the people around you are going to react and respond to you. It all starts off in the morning when you look in the mirror and say, wow, I'm going to have a fantastic, productive, profitable day today, and I'm going to make myself and everybody else around me happy. Well, the teaching for today is to use the law of attraction to our advantage. Make it a habitual way of being, not just a one-time event. You've got to be that way. Live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it, make it you. Absolutely. Well, you know what today is? Yeah, you better know. It's Wednesday, but it's March the 1st, and it is somebody's birthday. Yes, sir. And we've got some terrific birthdays today. So you know what? Might as well just get right on to them. You know what? March the 1st, this fellow was born in 1810, passed away on 1849. He was a composer and a virtuoso pianist. He was one of the great masters of romantic music. He was celebrating his birthday. Frederick Chopin, yeah. And here's somebody born 1944, a songwriter, a singer, an actor, best known as the founder and lead singer of the rock band The Who. Happy birthday, Roger Daltrey. And then finally, here's somebody everybody knows. Born in 1954, a director, a producer, an actor, Howard came to prominence in the 60s playing Andy Griffith's TV son, Opie. Happy birthday, Ron Howard. Yeah, and don't forget his relationship with the Fonz. Well, you ever wondering what was going on today in history? Well, hang on to your hat, sit down on your easy chair. I'm about to tell you. On March the 1st, 1565, the city of Rio de Janeiro was founded. Wow. And on this date in 1872, Yellowstone National Park is established as the world's very first national park. The world's, not the United States. And on this date in 1936, the Hoover Dam in Las Vegas was completed. If you haven't seen it, it's really something. It's a wonder to see, whether from the sky in an airplane or standing right up on top of it. It's really something to see. And on this date in 1954, let's talk about nuclear testing. The Castle Bravo, a 15 megabon hydrogen bomb, is detonated on Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean, resulting in the worst radioactive contamination ever caused by the United States. Well, that's a nothing bomb by today's standards. And our quote for today comes from Palmer Sondriel. And Palmer says, "Happiness is never stopping to think if you are." Thinking, that is. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's time for us to give you some of those interesting but useless facts. We've got a few of them, and we got a couple of minutes to do it in, so let's do that. Did you know that in Milan, Italy, when an operator dialed a wrong number, the phone company fined the operator? Now, those days are over, huh? Because you make your own calls now. When you dial a wrong number, you just pay for the long-distance call, I guess. Are there even any long-distance calls anymore? I don't think so. How about this? You know, the average light bulb can last for about 750 to 1,000 hours, the average one. But now they have these lifetime bulbs that are out there. Just unbelievable. How about this one? You know what? A conference on Morse code, because the letters S and O were easy to remember, and so about anyone could key it and read it. S equals ... and O equals ... S and O. And so SOS is ... In case you ever need help. People can actually know what you're doing. How about this? Per capita, it is safer to live in New York City than it is to live in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Now, there is a scary thought, right? And you know what? From 1967 to 1976, the town of Tororo, located in Uganda, had thunder 251 out of the 365 days in a year for those years. Can you believe that? Thunder for 251 days out of 365 from 1967 to 1976. Wow, that's big. Try this on for size. Clouds fly higher during the day than at night. You know why? Yeah, because of the heat of the sun. Try this one on for size. They can often be transparent, see-through, or translucent, semi-translucent. Clouds, that is. Well, let me leave you with this. Did you know that the average person consumes over a ton of food and drink each and every year? A ton. That's 2,000 pounds. That, my friends, is a big, big deal. Now, don't go away. We're going to take our last commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. And today's story? Practice run. Now, you know you're not going to want to miss this, right? Absolutely. We'll be right back, so don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400 4900, or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:53 p.m. Pacific time, currently 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, on its way down to 46 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Hong Kong, it's 63 degrees and mostly cloudy. And if you're listening to us in Lisbon, Portugal, well, it's 54 degrees and partly cloudy. And right now, time for our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Sir, you know what? The American Broadcasting Company calls him the biggest voice in America. He's Paul Harvey, and each week, millions of listeners, viewers, and readers awaited his unraveling of the mysteries of the events and lives of people past and present. He was heard on over 1,400 radio stations, seen on 110 television stations, and he was read in over 300 newspapers. The rest of the story has for years been exploring the highways and byways of history with revelations that are intriguing, amusing, and surprising. Well, today's story is Practice Run. Yes, sirree. You know what? Let's get to it. You know, Bill Turner lived the 19th century tradition of the sea. As a lad, he longed to feel the waves beneath him, the stinging ocean air in his face, so he ran away from home to become a cabin boy on a merchant vessel. Bill Turner was 16 at the time. The captain smiled to see the scrawny young fella lugging his belongings up the gangplank in a leather shoulder sack. Perhaps he saw himself as a boy running away to sea to imagined adventure. But for young Bill Turner, imagined adventure in reality would become the same. Soon, at noon, Bill watched the naked masks and spars, magnificently attired, tugging against the gleaming white billow. Then the deck rocked free and the old ship, shed of its mooring, drew out to sea. Bill was where his heart would always be, at sea. That night, he lay awake in his bunk, listening to the older seamen singing chanties. The ship groaned and creaked its dysrhythmic accompaniment as the waves sloshed gently at her hull. For the thrilling newness of it, all Bill could do was just listen to it, because he could not sleep. First stop on the voyage, Kinsale Harbor, Ireland. They were due in the morning, but they would never reach it in one piece. In the pre-dawn dark, gale winds whipped up, and a mile from port, within the hour, tempest velocity. The old ship twisted and pitched, alerting all hands. By the time every man had made his station, it was too late. Young Bill Turner arrived on deck just as the main and mizzen snapped in half like stems of straw. Abandoned ship was called. The hull was out about to rupture, and Bill Turner, the cabin boy on the first night of his first voyage, jumped overboard and swam for his life. The icy waters made his muscles contract. He struggled against the waves, adrenaline fighting the cold, craning his neck to clear the big rollers. One thought was fixed in his mind. Swim for shore, swim for Ireland. As the dawn broke, the sea calmed. Bill found himself clinging to a rock on the coast. The peril was past for a while, and that is the rest of the story. For Bill Turner did not give up the sea. He would be Captain William Turner one day, and one night, 50 years in the future, the last night of his last voyage would be like the first night of his first. Again, he would be shipwrecked off the coast of Ireland, off the same old head of Kinsale. Again, he would jump into the icy water to relive the fear of a young cabin boy. And again, aged by 50 years, and though far from shore, he would swim for Ireland, instinctively, as he had 50 years before. Had he not, he would have gone down with the rest. The passing ship would never have picked him up. Bill Turner's life was saved because he had run 50 years before he actually became the captain of the Lusitania. And now you know the rest of the story. Well, on my next show, Sean LaFave and I are going to be talking about healthcare here on the Geared for Wellness corner of Robert Cardoza Live. And then I'm going to continue our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey with the rest of the story. We're going to ask you to please tell all your friends about our show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. They'll be glad you did. You'll be glad you did. And you know what? I'll really be glad you did.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.